Game number 3 here. Now, we just finished up a solid series on Brax's holdout. Claris, what do you think of it?
I was excited to see Brax's holdout, and I expected the game to be quite even between these two.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Playing Ducks, it was their map pick. They forewent the first pick of Hero, went to the map that they felt comfortable on. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out for them. We were just talking between in the break that there was actually like so many potential cleanses for them to actually go in there. Because Zarya has the 13 and 16 cleanse on her shields, but they didn't quite synergize that as well as they could have done on that point to secure it.
Yeah, they were so close. I mean, I was looking at the replay during the break, and Murden was the one holding it, which makes sense. You leave Murden up there for a little bit there. And then when he gets burned down half health, you jump out. That way he can use his trait. And then you need to get Artanis on that point. It's Artanis' playground. Him holding a front line is what he does so well. But Artanis was on the back right. He tried to blade dash in. I think he was banking on a Thermal, either doing a knockback or a power slide to prevent the blade dash from retreating back to where normally it would. It didn't happen. So suddenly Nande is completely out of position, and Zarya got stuck there, and that's when the Earthbound came in, and oh man, it just did not work out. Game number 3, we're getting ready for it though. Let's find out which battleground we're going to. Did we see a triple warrior lineup?
We could. I don't know how smart it would be going into our current meta that we're seeing in Europe, but let's see where we're going. Battlefield of Eternity. Tricked Esports pick.
Interesting. So they have played on this battleground before, but obviously not a win for them, as they were 1-9 before today's series. Now there are 3-9, so moving up in the world. It's actually very refreshing to see Tricked Esport be as strong as that everyone's mentioned about them in Europe. Because again, their freaking start was so hard for them.
Yeah, for sure. I think that a lot of people, including the organization, the players, were banking on knowing that their first couple of fixtures were going to be difficult. You know, here in Phase 1, everyone plays everyone, so that's fine. They now know that they've got some easier matches coming up for them compared to teams like the Big Three, and they're going to be in a good spot, and they're starting off with a bang here at the moment.
Yeah, going into Battlefield of Eternity, let's start the draft. So draft has been different from what we're used to in the last couple weeks.
Right? Yeah.
We've had Tyrael bans, we've had Ragnaros bans, we've had Tassadar make it through the draft completely, which is pretty insane until the second ban phase. But still, the first phase was pretty outstanding.
This is the one map in Europe right now where I see Artanis being a warranted ban, even early on. Amateur opponents very powerful. Swaps towards the mid because you're fighting so much can be very powerful. So I wouldn't mind if we saw it banned on one side. Where it may be, though, I don't know.
I think Tyrael is also a ban, too, just because Greyman and Artanis both synergize very well with that hero. And you get a strong foundation, and you don't have to pick your Artanis or your Greyman until the 4th or 5th pick, unless the opposing team goes that route, and then suddenly you have solid engage with your Tyrael, and you have sanctification for when they dive into you. So I think Tyrael is a solid ban here, or such a solid pickup at the same time for our teams.
All right, so regardless of all of our theory crafting, we're going back to the normal bans of Europe. You may as well just embrace these on the flag of Europe at this point, just with big crosses through them, because that's all that you're ever going to see for the most part. Right now, I'm Playing Ducks. First pick. Tychus? Tychus?
HGC taken away. Been the #1 pickup for Tricked Esport the last couple of matches, so Playing Ducks elects to take it away, and Chris Blodgen can run a solid ETC. Now, you go over to Tricked Esport now, and do they move into their Tychus and Malfurion, which we've seen in the past, or do they start moving into their warriors that they would love to have so well here? Tyrael being one of those top contenders, as we have seen Tricked Esport really values him, his imposing presence, and what he brings to the mix.
I think it's smart to take ETC away from them the last 2 games. It's been strong with Eternal actually, you know, playing very, very well on that hero. There's Artanis.
There he is.
We mentioned before that he's powerful on this map, and this is where I think he really fits in Europe. Like, I mean, do we even need to go over it again? He has so much power on this map.
So they take Artanis and Vala, which will give them major DPS here on BOE, which means Playing Ducks needs to decide, do they want to go for an aggressive race and try to match them, which puts Greymane up, especially with that attack speed available by ETC?
Well, it's not, I mean, racing against those two alone on this map
it's hard.
Nigh on impossible.
Yeah.
Like, you've got amateur opponent, and then you've got... oh, bless. You've got amateur opponent, and you've got monster hunter. those two are going to absolutely muller the Immortal. And nobody knows what that means apart from people in England, but it's a thing. They're going to muller him.
Is that close to rubbish? That's my European word I'm learning from you lately.
Yeah, basically. They're going to beat him up really fast. There you go.
Nice. I like it. Here we say get bodied.
Yeah.
The Immortals can get bodied.
Yeah, I can do
by
that.
Artanis and Vala.
Yeah.
So playing Ducks. What are they going to like to do here? Thinking slightly on it. You either go for hard engage or you go for race as well. They grab Li Ming for that poke, but that poke can be just as strong against the opposing team, especially if you land that orb, or of course your magic missiles. So Tricked Esport now has the ban available for their side. Do you get rid of Greymane just to keep playing Ducks from picking it up?
Do you? That's a good question, because I think that at this point they might have to commit to a race. No, I would like to see playing Ducks go for more hard engage. I know that Li Ming isn't necessarily like absolute hard engage, but she can follow up hard engage really nicely.
Yeah.
So what would you take away?
Johanna could be a choice. ETC Johanna, while probably too beefy a front line, can be strong on this battleground. The blinds are enough to delay Artanis and Vala from doing too crazy of damage, but it would be super tank heavy. Tychus is being highlighted for Tricked Esport as their ban, which means I feel like they're going to go the heavy warrior route. I feel like Ethereal is the feature here.
Tychus to me, in that ban slot for Tricked Esport, feels like we don't know entirely how they're going to play this, but let's get rid of Tychus because he's really good.
And a Nubrak makes sense. A Nubrak's become the instant counter to Li Ming and Jaina nowadays, as he just does such a good job of sitting in the front line and making it frustrating to waste your mana on him.
Imagine that. Blizzard wanted him to be an anti-mage and he worked out all right. Good stuff, Blizzard. Good stuff.
Might as well have an extra trait, delete opposing mages
as
soon as you're picked.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, he's such a pain to deal with. So Tricked Esport now. I feel like Tyrael. Oh my golly, okay.
Cho'gall!
All right then.
Yes!
All right.
We're in, boys. It's the double. They've gone for the double.
They're going for it, man. This is the first time that we've had Cho'gall here in Europe for the HGC. So we now have our double ogre, and this changes the complete dynamic of the game right now. Suddenly that 4th and 5th pick, you're thinking about one you want to pick up. Do you go the Leoric here, and then you get some massive damage that can burn down? Man, this is going to sound weird to say, but I wouldn't mind seeing a Lunara here. With Leoric.
Yeah.
And you, get decent race on the Immortal.
I mean, Leoric must be it's such a good choice in Cho'gall, right?
It destroys.
Get him.
It forces them to use their Molten Core at 13, or not the Molten Core, the Molten Block at 13. So they break the Drain Hope, and then suddenly you can kind of burn it down with your Li Ming and such. You can go the Q build with Li Ming and just let Chris go off. So let's see what playing Ducks will pick up for their 4th and pick. I feel like Greymane's not a choice here.
There he is.
Greymane will get destroyed. They go into Karazim.
7-sided.
So they still have decent race too, because of Iron Fist and Li Ming. Granted, I still think Vala and Artanis beats them by a mile. But if they do get a pick off on Cho'gall, on Vala, or Artanis, they can force the opposing team to come into them. Now, 5th pick here, is it Ariel instantly here? As Ariel is the main go-to for that Cho'gall synergy.
You know, it's really weird, but in Europe, I've seen some Resurrect.
Yeah.
It's really weird, but I've seen it. And if you're thinking on the side of Tricked, Nappy actually plays quite a bit of Ariel. So this makes sense, Strickler.
Okay, well, we're going for a fun game here in number 3 on Battlefield of Eternity. Now, Ariel, for those at home, why does it work? Empathic Link is so strong here with the Cho'gall, as you have such a huge body that's going to be taking poke. It's going to be taking damage. You're going to be taking a lot of damage that Ariel can turn into that juicy, juicy healing.
All right.
He's one of my favorite heroes, plural heroes, in the entire game.
Sure.
Cho'gall, first time we get to see him here in Europe. I want hashtag double header is mine. The old 1-2, the knock and the punch, right? I don't know how well it's going to work, but it can work on this battleground. We've seen it work on this battleground a few times.
I think it's going to work incredibly well. The only major threat in the opposing team is playing Ducks' Leoric here, and then Karazim 7-sided, which is only a 3-level window where it's like, all right, I have to watch out for Karazim, and then you get that Molten Block and you're good to go. Li Ming has decent poke, but the idea is like Cho'Gall's going to be floating around like a Li Ming in the middle of the map here, just poking down their opponents, helping out with the Immortal phase, but also keeping their opponents away, while Artanis and Vala just do their thing. Like, they're just going to attack the Immortal and say, thanks, Cho'Gall.
I'm very excited to see what comes in as the heroic choices.
Yeah.
He is a raid boss. Absolutely a raid boss. So let's get into it here for game number 3 on Battlefield of Eternity. I'm excited.
Let's do it. Tricked Esports up 2-0. To the far left, Caloris, give me those introductions.
Oh, look, it's Tricked Remmer.
Okay, all right. I don't like the Cho'gall choice anymore. Kind of over it. There's the name doesn't work. It's Trickmer. Trickmer and Nape and Crosby here on the bottom left. To the far right in red, the playing Ducks. Chris and Wolf Joe will be playing their Li Ming and their Furion.
Yeah. So it's Remmer and Alex the Pro G on the Cho'gall. It's Alex playing Cho, Remmer playing the Gall. So we're going to keep close eyes on what talents they're going to be picking up throughout this to start things off. He is going to get hurt. We're going to see Cho'gall take a lot of damage from the composition that he's going up against. But for the moment in these lane setups, a little bit less because Leoric is on that solo lane having to deal with Artanis.
Yep, Leoric versus Artanis will be a match for him. Artanis may actually win that if he's able to blade dash out of the grab from Leoric, but Leoric going the W build will make that much more difficult. So could see Leoric edge out that top lane, but the main lane we're going to keep an eye on here is down the bottom lane. How does Trickmer and the opposing team deal with him? I'm going to call him Murr here. So there'll be continuous poke back and forth. The main focus, again, will always be Cho'gall. He's got to soak up that damage here in the front line.
I like how for most teams, if they ever play Cho'gall, it's just their tag at the start of Cho, because it's 3 letters. So, poor little fella. Alex the Pro G gets no love during this naming convention, but that's fine, as we will see them just dropping stuff out. So what has he gone? He went Shove and he went Surging Dash, with Remmer taking that Shove and Surging Dash coming out on Alex the Pro G. So a little bit more mobility, a little bit more strength behind their positioning is always very important for a Cho'gall.
And Shove is actually stellar. Because if there is a mosh pit that ever does pick ET or pick the Cho'gall,
yeah,
you can shove your way out of the mosh pit.
It's
so,
true.
Something for Chris Explosion to think about here. As we start the Immortal race already, Artanis is on that point. He's fighting against Sports Billy. Sports Billy goes in for the engage here, and Eternal will swap him to the left. Crosby working the attack damage down. Eternal getting focused down now, does dodge the magic missiles, but it's not enough here. The heal, though, coming from Ario. Will it be enough? Eternal is taken out by the playing Ducks.
And that's a problem here for Tricked Esport because they have, I feel, most momentum behind their composition right here, right now, unless they land wombo combos beyond level 10. After level 10, they're going to go up against 7-sided Strike. They're going to go up against the potential of Entomb, locking Cho'gall in, as well as all the damage coming out from Leoric. So Tricked Esport, with this composition, I think they need to win certain points of the early game.
Yeah, they certainly will. And Nande is doing a really good job of keeping that Cho'gall in check. He is constantly chasing him. Even if he doesn't have Drain Help up, just being near a Cho'gall is a threat enough to make him think about his positioning. The poke starts here on the Immortal on the left, but playing Ducks further ahead right now with their engage here. And we're going to have them going for the race, 8,000 to 1,000, and the burn will go to the playing Ducks. They take the first Immortal. Tricked Esports will need to defend.
Yeah, realizing they couldn't get much done with that. That's fine. Realizing that I guess they didn't want to take the fight, even though I feel they have to take some fights here pretty soon. Let's see what's going on in terms of talents. We have Runic Persistence, so it no longer destroys the bomb when they throw it out, and Ruined Gauntlet. So doing some extra damage once that bomb has gone out from the hit on Cho. So again, we'll keep it updated with those because we just don't get to see Cho'gall that much in Europe, and I'm excited to see how he's going to do.
No, we don't. And Chris picks up Dominance here, which is a strong talent. I do like the Charge Blast, though, at level 4 against Cho'gall. Just being able to put on a couple of shots so you can help get more damage in the fights, especially if the level 7 talent. But we're going to have Dominance here for our Chris, our Li Ming main of the game. Memmer is taking damage here on the left. He gets poked.
Yeah, he gets chunked, which is scary for the upcoming fights to come. This is the perfect opportunity for playing Ducks to get themselves on the board, and they're doing it in a grand way at the beginning, taking down this wall, still putting on pressure, get the fountain. That'd be a brilliant pickup, even if not the fort.
Yep, just chunking away slowly. Cho'gall does a really good job of clearing waves, so it's going to take a while for them to burn this down. But again, putting the pressure and having Cho'gall on the back foot against the fort is a win in itself. It opens up opportunities for our mercenary camps. It opens up opportunities for Chris to siege upon the fort or even get some damage in there on the opposing team. So they will grab some mercs down here on the bottom left. And this is kind of one of the things that Cho'gall suffers against and why he's actually good on BOE is that if it's a 3-lane map, you just don't have the extra body to go scout if Mercenaries are being grabbed. But with the 2-lane map being here, you're able to kind of just set up and be aware of your surroundings.
Unless you... I've got to pick your brain about this, because I'm a little bit worried now for Tricked Esport completely. Unless you see huge wombo post-10 coming out for Tricked Esport, do you see them winning this at all? Because the comp that they're going up against is so powerful. This is a full damage Karazim, because he has the backup of a Malfurion, and then the amount of damage that can come out from a Leaning, and the lockdown of Leoric and damage. I don't know how Tricked Esports is able to eke out an even fight.
If they go upheaval,
yeah,
I think they can. You
Okay.
get upheaval, you pull in Malfurion. Granted, Ice Block is at 13, but you could grab Karazim, you could maybe grab HGC, and then you follow with the Rain of Vengeance, and you just blow up whoever that first target is that you grab in. You can even get a massive engage with the Rain of Vengeance follow-up. We'll see if that will be the choice. In terms of poke game, yeah, it could take them a while, but they do have the entire Immortal race on their side if they're able to get good spawns. Unfortunately, this spawn doesn't work out for them, unfortunately, as the opposing Immortal is on the opposing side, so they have to get through the playing Ducks, which is set up a really good choke here in the middle.
Crosby would like to get extra stacks on his Hungering Arrow as well here, as he's only like a 10th of the way through it, not much at all, as Emma and now it's Toji just zoning out, and Andy comes in and starts draining hope there from Cho'gall. And will get pushed back for the moment.
What do you think of no empathic link for Ariel? Here we just have main heals from the poke.
I think it's okay, but I think any choices is going to be hard going up against the comp that they're going up against and playing Ducks. And there's going to be a lockdown on Cho'gall there for a moment. They don't look to... Look, I mean...
Okay, nice here, actually. Crystplosion, sorry, they're dancing around here on the side, but there was a really good swap there from Eternal, and Crystplosion will be able to escape, but man, they almost have the kill there. But you just saw what you've been illustrating this entire match here. Even if they do get a pickoff, their ETC still walks away.
Yeah, they're not winning any of the things that they need to win early on in this game. They're not winning the race because playing Ducks just keep the fight in the right locations. Now they're going to go on race because they know that if they stay down there, they're not going to keep up, and they're probably going to fall behind in experience towards level 10, and then it's just going to be bad. So they just want to get this over and done with as quickly as possible, try and find level 10 in this window, but now they've got to... You're dead.
Yeah, Eternal gets picked your power slide. He does dodge the blade dash and the knockback. Crystplosion does not secure it, and that is actually going to be an alive Eternal. I think a huge blunder there from the playing Ducks. First off, the power slide missed, and he didn't get the knockback on the blade dash.
Yeah, if things lined up, then he would be dead, but it's a bit of a mishap there. But regardless, they're in a strong position and strong command of this game. ETC is waiting in the back. You can see him just looking for an opportunity as he comes in now towards that left-hand side Crystplosion, but gets knocked back very, very quickly.
Tricked Esports' main goal here is to clear this and also do not lose their keep. But playing Ducks is in a prime position here to get level 10 and take away a keep, which would be painful for Tricked Esports to deal with. Remember, Cho'gall is pretty solid when you get to mid to late game, especially late game when you get those level 20 talents. They just become so disruptive. But Tricked Esports right now just has to poke and pray as Artanis is in the bottom lane trying to soak experience, but it's going to take a while for me to get 10.
And now Cho'gall just can't go anywhere. Like, he can't go forwards because he will get entombed, and then when he does, he's dead. He is D-E-A-D, absolutely dead. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to do anything. They lose a keep, and Artanis all the while has been down towards the bottom right, trying to soak up and get some counter damage, but it's going to be a hard recovery.
Yeah, it's trying to get that 10, but you're right, it's a little bit too late here as the keep going down is a massive play there for playing Ducks, and they do secure it, so nice job on them. And now Tricked Esports finally gets 10. What is the pickup for Cho and Gall? Engage here. It's a Shadow Bolt volley. Is it going to be a hammer, or is it going to be the upheaval? And it is going to be upheaval. So now Cho'gall has the opportunity to pull someone in and go for the engage, but very similar to 7-sided strike against Cho'gall. At 13, he gets Molten Block, very similar to Malfurion. He gets Ice Block. So it's going to be harder to pull off those combos. You're going to have to bait out the Ice Block and then get the engage on the support and then move from there. Because Li Ming can dodge out. You have Karazim, he can dodge out.
Yeah.
Leoric, he can just hit E and walk away. And then ETC also has his own mobility kit.
Whilst there's a little bit of a lull here, I feel that Cho'gall has a hard time fitting into compositions when the meta is Tastar first ban heavy. Because if you then say, okay, that's a Tychus first ban, one, you're not telegraphing as much because that could just be into double warriors, and then two, your second rotation, instead of a Tychus ban, which would be amazing against Cho'gall, could have been something like either a Leoric or a Kharazim, and then you only limit your opponents to having one of the very, very powerful counters. But giving Kharazim and Leoric off the back of having to ban out Tassadar early on, I think it's a weird thing for the meta. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a hard thing to deal with for sure. And we'll have to see if Esport can deal with it here as they have a look to pick up Cho'gall. There's the upheaval pulling in Malfurion. Wolf Joe should be the main target, and he is. He is eliminated. Shadow Ball volley goes off as well. The mosh pit from Chris Explosion will connect, but no one has fallen. Eternal goes for the engage. Will miss out on the full phase prism to body block, but they do get a pickoff, and that is the start to a comeback.
That's the wombos. That's what we need. We need that upheaval into that Shadow Ball volley. And if you haven't played Cho'gall out there, if they get to level 20, which is going to be difficult considering the state of this game right now, but piercing bolts from that volley at level 20 is insane damage. But they're doing well so far. It's a good little recovery start.
Especially because you can still use it when you're in mosh pit, so you're able to actually hit the back line too at the same time. Artanis will go back and clear the back wave while the rest of Tricked Esport is here to defend. Upheaval is up in 10 seconds. One of the good things about Cho'gall on its heroics is actually very small cooldown, so you can get it down in one fight and a fight instantly. 7-sided strike though on Mur. He is in trouble. Here is Nape in the back line. He does not have Aegis for 6 seconds, so he has to wait, and there could have been a chance for the Cho'gall to be taken out, but he will survive for now. The race continues for our two teams.
It was absolutely chunking damage. What's going to happen here as the Immortal goes over to playing Ducks again is that once 7-sided strike happens, Artanis needs to be in there. Like, he needs to be the one soaking up some of those hits, because if he's not, it's doing way, way too much damage to Cho'gall.
Yeah, luckily at 13 he gets Molten Block, so we can deal with that finally.
True.
But that does set up a follow-up into an Entomb, into a Mosh Pit, or even into a Wave of Force to knock that Cho'gall back into your team. So lots of things to think about. Pressure here for playing Ducks in the bottom left, as they're going to have to deal with this Immortal pushing in their way. Nice dodge here from Trick. There goes the 7-sided strike though, and Bala is the one on the receiving end of 7 punches to the face.
And that takes away a lot of her power now. You know, obviously, always the Valor Ariel combos are very, very strong, but not when she's dead. She's going to have to just try and give Cho'gall as much room as possible. But there's nothing he can do here. If he steps forward, yes, of course, Entomb is down as well as 7-sided strike, but very, very difficult for him to do end damage. Look, I mean, Bolt's coming out and it's not doing anything.
Ooh, he walks right into the mosh pit here. The Cho'gall and Artanis in the back line trying to just live for a little bit. Bala does spawn. Eternal is surviving. Nicely done here. And now, Alex Aproji and his teammate here will move in for the fight. Aegis is still available. There is a Massive Silence, though. And because of the Silence, there couldn't be an Aegis. And that's going to be a kill here. With the Aegis being down 2. 3 members taken out, which is 4 because of the Cho'gall. And this is going to be lights out.
Poor Chris, he could have gone on a rampage, but he had no mana left. Oh, sorry, buddy. But he absolutely went ham there with those teleports forwards, with the Calamity damage coming out and the combos as well. Good stuff from playing Ducks. Great reactions in the draft, and they were able to solidify themselves a brilliant spot, not letting Cho'gall gain any momentum in the early game.
Yep, momentum completely stopped here. 20% down to 10, now 0. Playing Ducks will score their first victory here in this best of 5 series. 2-1 in favor of Trick, but nice job here from the Playing Ducks. I feel like Playing Ducks is, hey, we're the team that you can't ever cheese.
Yeah.
They faced against a Chromie the other day with the second pick
did.
from Misfits and stomped that. They stopped that from completely happening. And here, they stop a Cho'gall. I feel like against the Playing Ducks, you just got to play straight up or you got to get out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether this comes back to what I said at the beginning of the series, where it's like, don't underestimate Playing Ducks. Maybe that factors in a little bit, you know, because Cho'gall is quite a wild pick in the meta currently. So it didn't quite work out. I feel like hashtag doubleheader went to hashtag red card, get off the pitch, Cho'gall. Bit sad for him.
Yeah, it is a bit sad because I feel like Tricked Esports had a good foundation already with that Vala and the Artanis. They didn't have to go for the Cho'gall. But hey, it happened. We'll get ready for game number 4 here. Tricked Esports taking on Playing Ducks, currently up 2-1.